The parking lot behind the Seaside Strip Mall baked under the late afternoon sun, heat rising off cracked asphalt like breath from an open mouth. Near a dented dumpster, half hidden by shadows and discarded boxes, a thin German shepherd lay inside a rusted metal cage. The bars were bent in places, scarred where something strong had once pushed and failed. His coat, once black and tan, was dulled to dusty patches. His ribs pressed faintly against skin. He barely moved. Laughter cut through the heat. Four young men stood a few steps away, clean polos, spotless shoes, sunglasses worn like shields. One leaned casually against the cage, tapping the bars with his knuckles. Another held up his phone, recording, his grin wide and careless. They laughed the way people did when they believed nothing could touch them. "Look at him," one said. "Barely breathing." The dog flinched at the sound. His amber eyes stayed open, alert but exhausted, tracking movement without hope. He had learned that noise meant pain. None of them noticed the man at first. He stood near the edge of the lot, hands loose at his sides, posture relaxed but rooted. Mid-30s, broad-shouldered without show, wearing a faded ball cap and worn boots. His movements were economical, practiced. His eyes were not angry. They were focused, counting distance, reading hands. The habits of someone shaped by places where hesitation cost lives. He had come for coffee. He stayed because of the sound. As he stepped closer, the smell hit him first. Rust, hot metal, neglect. Then he saw the dog clearly. The scar along one ear. The familiar set of the shoulders, even diminished. Memory rose hard and fast. Sand. Thus, a steady weight at his knee. A name spoken into chaos. His jaw tightened. One of the young men kicked the cage lightly, just enough to make it rattle. The dog recoiled, claws scraping uselessly against metal. Stop. The word wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. They turned, annoyed. The one with the phone smirked. "Relax, man. It's just a dog." The man took one step forward. "Come." Measured. "Step away from the cage." "Or what?" Another laughed. The man didn't answer. He knelt instead, lowering himself until his eyes were level with the dog behind the bars. The world narrowed to that space. "Ranger," he said quietly. The dog's head lifted. One ear twitched. His tail moved once, slow and unsure. Everything changed. The laughter faltered, then surged again, louder this time, sharpened by discomfort. Cruelty often raised its voice when control slipped. "You know the mutt's name?" one of them sneered. The man didn't look up. His attention stayed with the dog, his voice low, steady, shaped for calm. Short phrases. Familiar rhythm. The kind used in smoke and gunfire, where panic was contagious and control was survival. Ranger's breathing slowed. The leader of the group stepped forward, tall, confident, face smooth with entitlement. He rested his forearm on the cage like it was furniture. "You think that's your dog?" he asked. "Prove it." The man reached into his jacket and pulled out an old identification card. The edges were worn soft. On it, a younger version of himself stood beside a German shepherd with the same scarred ear, the same eyes. A working team frozen in time. The leader glanced at it, unimpressed. "Looks like any other shepherd," he said, handing it back. "Take the cage out back." Two of them grabbed the metal frame. The man rose in one smooth motion and stepped between them and the dog. He didn't raise his fists. He didn't shout. He simply stood there, feet planted, presence immovable. "No," he said. For a moment the lot went still. Wind rattled loose trash. Somewhere gulls cried. A phone camera clicked on again. From the diner's back door, a young waitress named June watched, heart pounding. She'd learned early that staying quiet kept paychecks coming. But the scrape of metal, the dog's flinch, the man's stillness, it cut through her habits. She slipped her phone out and sent a message to the number saved under one word: emergency. A patrol car rolled past the lot, slowing just enough for the driver to look. No lights. No siren. Just a presence. A warning. The boys noticed. Their laughter thinned. The man kept speaking to Ranger, grounding him in sound. The dog's trembling eased. His tail tapped once against the cage floor. Minutes stretched. Sweat darkened collars. Without the reaction they wanted, the game lost flavor. One cursed. Another shrugged. "Whatever," the leader muttered. "Not worth it." They shoved the cage back toward the shadows, laughter trailing behind them as they left. No victory. No cheers. Just retreat. The man stayed close, careful not to touch the bars, close enough to be seen. Ranger lay down, eyes locked on him, breathing even. This wasn't over. It had only shifted. The veterinary clinic near the docks smelled of antiseptic and salt air. The man carried Ranger inside with steady arms, careful of stiff joints and hidden pain. Ranger didn't fight. He watched the man's face the whole time as if anchoring himself there. Dr. Helen moved fast, practiced hands gentle but precise. She didn't ask questions yet. She didn't need to. The injuries told their own story. Dehydration. Weight loss. Old scars layered over newer ones. Rope burns half healed. He was a working dog, she said quietly. Law enforcement. Military. The man nodded once. That training kept him alive, she added. June arrived not long after, still in her work shirt, eyes bright with fear and resolve. She hovered near the doorway until the man gave her a small nod. Permission. Gratitude without words. Outside the video spread. Not edited. Not dramatic. Just truth. Messages followed. Threats dressed as confidence. Mentions of lawyers, parents, money. The man saved everything. Screenshots. Times. Names. Comment prepared. Officer Ruiz came by the clinic that evening. He watched the footage, jaw tight, eyes steady. This will stick, he said. Because people saw. Ranger slept under a warming light, for dripping steadily. Occasionally his paws twitched, chasing something kinder than memory. The man sat nearby, silent, present. Neighbors began to appear. An elderly woman with gauze. A folded blanket. Bottled water. No speeches. Just hands offering what they had. By morning the tone changed. The parents arrived separately. Quiet voices. Tight smiles. Power asked for privacy. It didn't get it. Fines followed. Charges. Mandatory counseling. A restraining order. Consequences applied without spectacle. One of the boys came alone later. Younger up close. Eyes down. We wanted attention, he said. That's all. The man listened. Then nodded. Attention doesn't come from hurting the helpless, he said. It comes from choosing better. Ranger healed slowly. Food. Sunday routine. His coat regained a muted shine. His eyes softened. Scars stayed. They didn't need to disappear. The vacant lot near the shoreline filled quietly at dusk. Porch lights flicked on. Phones stayed low. People came not for spectacle but presence. The man stood with Ranger at his side. Ranger was thinner than before but steadier. Head level. Tail calm. No aggression. Only awareness. Officer Ruiz stood across the street, arms loose, watching. June filmed, hands shaking less than last time. Sarah from the corner bar leaned on her railing, eyes clear. The young men arrived late. Engines loud. Confidence thinner. You think this scares us? The leader scoffed. Sarah answered, voice calm. We matter when we're watching. Silence followed. Ruiz stepped forward. This is your warning. Leave. They left. No cheers. No chase. The crowd thinned. Something remained. Morning came soft. Ranger walked the seawall at dawn, stopping to breathe in salt air. Healing moved at its own pace. The man waited. June quit the diner a week later. She started at the clinic. Learn charts. Learn patience. Ranger wagged for her, careful but warm. An elderly woman brought a one-eared cat. He hates people, she said. Perfect. The walking group began with a sign by the pier. Dogs welcome. Humans too. Ranger lay beneath a palm tree as nervous dogs learned calm by watching him. Children approached with softer hands. Parents exhaled. The man sat nearby, hat low, eyes on the tide. Justice had not been loud. Healing had not been fast. But it had been real. Some miracles arrive quietly. And they stay.